Hey, good morning. Happy Tuesday. We are here today to talk to you about what is happening in Edmonton's real estate housing market for the week of June 13th. So we have put out the market stats video. It's coming out this Saturday. I recorded what happened in May, so make sure to tune in on Saturday as we launch that. So today I'm going to talk to you about what's happened in the last week, and there are currently just over 2,900 listings. Nothing much of a change from last week. This has been the pattern we've been seeing for quite some time now. There's not been a massive change with the inventory level, just very slightly going up or down. In St. Albert, same thing. In Sherwood Park, same thing. And Spruce Grove, same thing. So nothing too huge in terms of a differential week to week. If you look at the pending sales are the homes that went under contract in the last week. We've had 277 versus 252. St. Albert has 27 over 22. Sherwood Park slightly higher than last week, and Spruce Grove a little bit lower. So the market is still moving. It's still moving at the similar pace that it has been in the last month or so. We are going to see, I think, a change in the market because the interest rates just went up last week, and anybody who has a rate hold is now going to have to make a decision because that rate's going to be higher if they don't use their rate hold. So I suspect we should see a little influx. I'm not sure how much, but not a huge amount, but it's going to be consistent at least. Usually in June and July, we get slower, but I have a suspicion we're going to stay around this kind of activity level until probably August. And then I think September will start to slow down because you've got the interest rate holds that are going to be gone. And also the fact that school is starting. So people want to get in moved before then. Now, for sold in the last 7 days, we saw nothing too crazy again at 222 in Edmonton versus 228 the week before. And in St. Albert, 29 versus 26, Sherwood Park, 20 versus 22, and Spruce Grove, identical. So these are properties that were under contract probably for about a week or two, and it hasn't changed too much. So if you compare it to last year, that's the interesting stat because last year at this time, things were starting to slow down, like I mentioned before, and you're seeing that we're not too far off from last year's numbers now. And so I think this trend started last week and it's going to continue on and we're going to continue to do that. So if you remember last year at this time, things had gone quite a bit slower because the interest rates had gone up so much multiple times. The interest rates were suspected to not move at all. However, they went up last week. Fixed rates are going to be going up because bond rates keep going up. And then we are starting to see, like in the US, they're still increasing their rates and Canada's wanting to follow suit. So there's a lot of things at play here when it comes to buyers not moving and pulling the trigger as quickly. Properties are taking longer to sell, and anything over $700,000 are moving quite a bit slower. So that means as a buyer, you have more opportunity and you're not having to be pressured to make a decision too quickly. However, homes that are priced decently, they're moving quickly because there's a lot of properties still sitting on the market that are not actually priced properly. There's still sellers thinking that they're going to get last year's pricing. Now they're going to start getting last year's pricing, but last year at the last half of the year is the pricing they're going to get versus the first half of the year. So take a look at that kind of information. And there was my kid just leaving. And just make sure you take a look at all things in regards to when you're making a decision to buy or sell. Different neighborhoods have different activity levels as well, too. We're seeing certain neighbors like Seacourt, for example, were really strong last year and has fallen off the market just like it had 3 years ago. It's kind of in that same stage. The prices have gone up from 3 years ago, but they're definitely not as high as they were last year. We're seeing that 8% change in general. And then in the older neighborhoods, we're still seeing a more steady price point because that older neighborhood has the river valley, the land equity has still been staying pretty stable. So we'll take a look next week, see how the market goes. But my suspicion is we're probably going to stay pretty similar and the same. If you have questions, as always comment and I can see them. If you're live commenting, I can answer your questions. Make sure to tune in next week as we talk about that. And don't forget, Saturday at 9 a.m., the new May market stats comes out.